Haman Nature, a journey in search of a peaceful and prosperous society with human nature as a guide. Led by your host, Adam Haman.
Hello and welcome to Haman Nature. With me as always is Tyrone. How are you doing?
Adam, I am so excited. Have you heard the unbelievable news?
About Jesus?
No. You haven't heard? Oh my gosh. Dude, Trump has changed parties. He's switched over to be a libertarian and is going to run as a libertarian presidential candidate. Can you believe it?
That's weird because I heard that the Libertarian Party went insane and they're having a MAGA rally featuring President Trump for the keynote speaker at their convention in D.C.
What is going on with the world? Well, folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, we are, of course, talking about the upcoming Libertarian National Convention, which is starting the day after this episode airs. And so we're going to talk all about that and what's going on. Now, Adam, you are kind of a bigwig in the Libertarian National Committee. Yes, you are. Come on.
I am a tiny wig in the Libertarian National Committee. I serve as the Region 1 representative. There is no smaller position and still be on the LNC.
Well, anyway, you are going to the National Convention. So I thought this one has the potential to be huge.
Huge.
It's going to be huge.
The biggest convention ever. Yeah, I'm very excited.
And the reason for the hugeness is because
drum roll, please. Yeah, it's not as if Trump is, keynoting our convention or anything, but our chair of the LNC, Angela McArdle, reached out to Trump, Biden, RFK Jr., Vivek, and asked them if they wanted to come and speak in any way. And Trump said yes. Biden doesn't know how mail works. After Trump said yes, RFK Jr., who's been paying a lot of attention to us this election cycle. He came to the California State Convention and spoke on a panel with some of our presidential candidates, which was great, very interesting. I think you can find it on the YouTubes. And then after Trump announced that he was going to be speaking, RFK Jr. is like, "Hey, I challenge you to a debate there," which is a bit of a surprise. It's not like we authorized that, nor would we, not unless our presidential candidate was on the stage too. But anyway, after that, Vivek Ramaswamy responded and said, somewhat telegraphingly, that he would be willing to debate our vice presidential candidate, or at least one of the nominees. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, which may be signaling that he thinks he's going to be somebody's vice presidential candidate. Anyway, the whole point of why it's so exciting is that we all of a sudden have a tremendous amount of national attention on us for us to either shine or flop as we choose, as suits our character. And just as there's been a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth since this has been announced, because a lot of libertarians just prefer that we hide in a closet where no one ever hears what our principles are, and therefore we pass all purity tests, and also we're completely irrelevant and do not persuade anybody towards our position ever. So I've been arguing about that as loudly as I can. And just as a minor, micro effect of what I'm talking about, we run libertarian meetups here in Nevada twice a month, every other week. And they're normally decently attended, but we got a noticeable big bump in the one that just happened last night. And it was because of this. As people were trying to figure out what to do on meetup.com or whatever, they started thinking, what is this Libertarian Party all about? It's getting all this attention. And that's only going to increase, obviously, as we move forward here.
Well, since libertarians have a natural aversion to being happy, yes, this has caused a bit of an uproar, and it's sort of still the whole ongoing kerfuffle since the last national convention, when sort of the Mises Caucus folks, quote unquote, took over the party. So, why don't you steel man as best you can both sides of the people who are for and against inviting Trump or any of these other guys to speak at the convention, and just kind of give us,
I'll try.
what's the debate or what's the problem?
I'll try. Some of the screeching seems not just autistic, but like they think, Trump has cooties or something. That even by having him speak at our convention is some sort of a tacit endorsement, or that he's going to come there and be so persuasive that all our delegates are going to vote for him or something. I honestly think it's a reflexive, it's a disgust reflex. As libertarians, they are disgusted by Donald Trump, which makes perfect sense. He's awful from a libertarian perspective, just awful. And I think that, so part of it is just that disgust reflex. They don't want us, tarnishing our good name by having anything to do with him. And part of it, I think, honestly, is factionalism within the LP, because the Mises Caucus is the caucus that's quote unquote in charge and is doing this. It is by definition bad because all Mises acts are bad. But I think they're just wrong. I mean, again, national attention is huge. The point of the party, according to its founder, was to make more libertarians, to, make the libertarian political philosophy attractive to normal folk. And the first task of someone who wants to persuade is to get attention. Doesn't matter how smart or principled you are, how many great books or papers or speeches you give. If nobody hears you, you aren't going to persuade anybody. So getting the national spotlight like this, I believe they ran out of media outlets, like physical plugs, for media who are going to come and cover the event.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. I mean, and this is a big DC hotel.
Yeah.
And it's become so much more, so much more popular than any other libertarian national convention. We're getting so much attention. They're running out of outlets, out of power strips.
Wow.
I think it might be. I heard. I might be being hyperbolic, but I think I heard that. And so I'm thrilled by it. The only thing that worries me is that we'll do something to screw it up.
Yeah.
Some guy with a boot on his head will make an ass of himself, or someone will get naked, or instead of just booing the orange one when he says things that aren't libertarians, maybe they'll start throwing things at him and Secret Service will shoot into the crowd or something.
Oh, good God.
I'm very worried that that we're going to behave so badly that it just turns it into a mess. But if that doesn't happen, then what we get to do is introduce Trump, give him a list of grievances we have with him, his administration, his policies, his speeches, everything. Then he comes out and responds in whatever Trumpian way he thinks is the best. So huge. And then we get a chance at the end after that to do a rebuttal. It's not a debate, but it's the closest thing the libertarians have had to a debate in quite some time. And again, it gets covered by everybody, and it happens on our home court. I just love it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying in, everybody's heard it. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I get what you're saying. You don't want to associate the Libertarian Party with Trump or Republicans or RFK Jr. or Democrats or Biden or anybody else.
But how much do you want the chance to put a bright line between you and them? And this is what that is. We get to starkly contrast what they're doing and what we're saying. And RFK Jr. gets to give a speech, and we get, a similar chance. And again, having somebody who, was prominent on the campaign trail as a presidential candidate, Vivek Ramaswamy, to have him debate one of our VP candidates, I think that's great.
Yeah, I think it's a little short-sighted to not get the momentous impact that this potentially could have. Now, that's if Trump shows up. I mean, you never know. last minute he changes his mind or something. Let's hope that's not the case. But also just from your average convention goer, I would say to all you guys. Now I'm not going this year, but I've been to plenty of conventions and they're all pretty boring. a lot of them, and I mean, yeah, there's some fun times. You go out to dinner with and make new friends or something like that, but they're all kind of low key events, except for when people are arguing about where a comma should be in a bylaw.
Tyrone, you take that right back. What in the world do you find boring about arguments over platform and bylaws using the time-honored tradition of settling disputes called Robert's Rules of Order newly revived? You take that back.
Adam, you know my opinion on bylines or bylaws. So now think about if you're a convention goer, the excitement that this is going to have. This is going to be the greatest convention the libertarians have ever had. I mean, just the sheer giddiness I would have getting off the plane and going to the hotel and just all of these news media outlets. And yeah, as much as we hate them and whatever, come on, man, it's still fun and exciting. You can give into that little bit of your primal,
and it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Talk to these people. If our ideas are the best, the chance to rub shoulders and get interviewed, maybe at least to talk to these people, just in general conversation about what our principles are and why they are better for the human race than whatever nonsense big state goofiness these people are doing. Unless you're afraid or think you're just part of a social club or a cult, you should be thrilled by the opportunity to persuade people that you're right and they're wrong. And what a wonder! Oh, and Thomas Massie's going to be there too. Easily the most libertarian sitting member of Congress right now. And I don't think he's speaking, but he's just going to be around doing a little meet and greet, and I just love it. And I don't think Angela's done. I think there's going to be more surprises. I don't know what they are.
I know this may come as a shock to our fellow libertarians, but believe it or not, people, there are still your average other folks out there who don't know what the Libertarian Party is. They don't know it exists. I know that's hard to believe. I know you just can't imagine it, but it's true. After this convention, if Trump shows up, anyone who pays attention to politics in this country will know that the Libertarian Party exists. And a lot more people who aren't really into politics will maybe hear it for the first time too. And maybe, just maybe, I mean, it's a long shot, I get it, but at this point we're coming to the end of the road, folks. The train's gonna run off the tracks here pretty quick, and we've got to do anything we can, take any advantage we can to put a spotlight on us, to raise awareness, to get these ideas out there, because honestly I don't know how many elections we have left. So
we might not get this one.
Yeah,
but I do think you're right. As we talked about in our very first episode, having Javier Milei get elected in Argentina the way he did was just a sign that I think the average citizen, not just in this country, but in a lot of them, agree with what you just said. We can't just afford to not be political anymore and just hope that our superiors, our betters, the elites are taking good care of us. They're clearly not taking good care of us. And I think we have to have a re-examination of our political beliefs, our philosophies, our conception of what political power is appropriate for and what it isn't appropriate for, that size and scope of government argument that we like to have. And yeah, as excited as I was to see Milei get elected and the attention that our ideas, were given from that event, I think this might be even bigger. I mean, it's America after all. Whatever happens here just happens bigger and louder and smellier usually than anywhere else.
So what I'm showing here on screen right now is the website for the convention. It's LNC, Libertarian National Convention, LNC2024.com. Become ungovernable. Okay. And here, you can find all about information. I don't know, is this sold out, Adam, with as much popularity as coming on? If people still wanted to go, are there tickets still available?
I'm not sure. I know ticket sales for convention packages and whatnot skyrocketed for obvious reasons in the last couple
Sure.
of weeks. And I honestly don't know. Delegates don't need to worry, obviously.
Right.
You can do business on the convention floor. And you have to register for the Trump event. And whether there's stuff still sold out or not, I don't know. You'll have to poke around that website.
Okay. All right. So yeah, like looks like registration kicks off on Thursday, May 23rd. There's a credentials committee meeting, basically just it's a committee that to make sure everybody that's attending who can vote has the proper credentials to vote. Sylvia Arrowwood, I'm not familiar with Sylvia.
Yeah, these master classes are, kind of internal. People who are running affiliates come here and get training from people on how to. This one is about Robert's Rules of Order, using it more smoothly, and there's a bunch of other ones about running a campaign, fundraising, campaign training there.
Campaign training class.
Your favorite?
My favorite.
Your favorite?
Bylaws and rules. you know the shirt I'm getting printed up that says bylaws change the world. Ask me how, and on the back of it says they don't. All right. So then credentialing. So yeah, Thursday is a lot of just getting things organized. Looks like another bunch of master classes, candidate training, lots of stuff. So if you're interested in running for office, lots of great candidate trainings. Oh, but hey, Thursday night, a vice chair debate. Do you know who's running for that at all? Or are you supporting anybody? Or I should ask, maybe is a better question.
There are a handful of people running. I don't want to name any names because I'll
Okay,
leave some
fair
out,
enough.
and it'll look like I'm being a favorite or
No,
something, which I
yeah,
don't
that
really
makes
want to
sense.
be.
Right. And then a nice welcome reception to kick things off, where people can probably dance and have some drinks or whatever. That sounds like fun. So then the convention itself kicks off really on Friday. Morning business. You got lunch with a speaker, and then big speaker Friday afternoon, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That is crazy. That's awesome. Now you saw him when he spoke at the California convention. Is that right?
Twice, yeah. He gave a speech at one of the lunches, which was really weird to give it was at the California State Convention, Libertarian Party Convention, and he gave this weird speech about how important government power was to protect the environment,
Yeah.
which just seemed tone deaf, given who
Yeah.
we believe that governments are terrible at that because they're
Right.
monopolists and they get captured by powerful interests who don't give a
Yep.
damn about the environment and
That's right.
witness the world we live in. But anyway, yeah, and then he had an even more interesting panel again with a couple of other presidential nominees on there, or candidates on there.
And then regional caucuses. Now you're Region 1 representative, right?
For the moment.
So you'll be in the International Ballroom. Where is this located at? I guess I don't even know.
It's some kind of a Hilton in DC. And it should be noted, the convention business all happens in that International Ballroom, I believe. And the big speakers, RFK Jr. and Trump, they happen in a different room.
Okay.
I think it's this Columbia Ballroom or this Crystal Ballroom or one or the
Columbia Ballroom for the vice presidential debate, and then the Vivek debate. So remind us again what's happening with the Vivek debate.
He's going to be debating, I think, the winner of a straw poll for the vice presidential, because I don't think they will have been chosen yet.
Right.
There will probably be a motion on the floor, by the way, Friday morning to amend the agenda to move up the selection of the presidential nominee so that it will actually be the nominee who gets to interact or respond to Trump rather than somebody who maybe wins a poll.
To Vivek, you mean?
Well, I mean both. Moving the presidential debate forward so that it'll actually be the nominee.
I see.
Because because whoever wins the straw poll might not actually win the nomination based on
Right,
the way we
right,
do the
right.
voting. So it would be nicer and cleaner if it was actually our candidate.
No, of course. But again, for media purposes, it doesn't really matter. Let's get somebody up there to do a debate, because that would be awesome. Someone that's half
Well,
half competent to do that. At least.
I wish it was a debate, but yeah, the reaction, the response to Trump.
Oh, and
the
then
listing of our
comedy
grievances.
night.
Yeah,
I know
excited.
Dave Smith is going to be at the convention. Is he doing a show at all? Or
He is giving a speech during one of the lunches.
okay,
It's on Saturday, and he is not on this comedy night.
okay.
That's Lou Perez, who is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Alex Stein,
Oh yeah.
who
Yep.
can be hilarious out there in the world with his GoPro.
Yep.
And Dave Smith is doing a stand-up set and a recording of Part of the Problem on Thursday night, across town, kind of
At a different location. Gotcha. Yeah. Enemies of the State dance party. Oh man, I hope somebody films that. That sounds awesome. Nothing like a bunch of geeky libertarians busting on the floor.
I will be at that. Cameras are not allowed. I've been told. I've been promised.
Is that right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So then Saturday is kind of the big day, right? So you got again morning business, a breakfast speaker. Oh, Dave Smith is going to be speaking during the lunch, and then presidential debate for our candidates, if that doesn't get moved to the previous day, and then the big one,
the big orange
the
one,
event everyone is showing up for, basically. President Donald J. Trump is, cross our fingers that he actually shows up, because this will be national news.
I've been saying ever since the announcement that he's probably not going to show up, because it'll occur to him at some point that we're getting way more out of this than he is, probably.
Yeah.
But the one thing we've got going for us is his enormous ego. It's the biggest ego.
Yep.
And I think once he commits to doing something, I don't think he likes to be the guy that backs down. So
right. Yeah. So I am anxiously crossing my fingers that he does show up, because that would just be meaningful. I mean, I have been part of the libertarian movement ever since I was born, because my father was one of the founding members of the Libertarian Party in Maryland. So I was,
and your mother was a porcupine.
That's right. And we all know that every porcupine is a libertarian. So
by definition,
this is unbelievable. I can't even imagine the amount of press and attention we're gonna get. And yeah, I know it's just gonna be for a blip. It's just gonna be for a news cycle. But hey, man, I'll take what we can get. we've been scraping and clawing, scrapping our way for every ounce of media attention or dollar we can raise. So
the blip argument gets trotted out a lot, but you got to remember, I first noticed the Libertarian Party probably in '96 when Harry Brown was running, and just think about how small the Liberty movement was as a percentage of the population. Small, teeny tiny in this country, and non-existent anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So these blips add up. We get more and more and more attention. Harry Brown was a wonderful ambassador for us.
Yeah.
And then we had a few that weren't so great. But still, the attention grew and grew and grew. The Ron Paul movements, his runs in 2008 and 2012, got a heck of a lot of attention to not the Republican Party, but the principles of libertarianism, because that's all he talked about. And the Fed and the empire, the basic libertarian ethos of, don't hurt people and don't take their stuff. He got people reading books and shouting "End the Fed" at rallies. It's freaking amazing. And we're We're only growing from there. And this is another pretty big blip. Who knows how far this is going to move the needle? As long as, again, we don't blow it and just show our butts. But if we have a sober, intelligent, reasoned analysis of what's wrong with him and RFK Jr. and Vivek, and we respond intelligently and prove our case, make it a persuasive one that's not just shrill and autistic and shrieking. If we can reach them on a level that communicates their human desires and wants, and how our philosophy addresses that better than statism, if we can do that, it's a huge opportunity. I really hope we rise up and manage that.
I couldn't agree more, man. So this is huge. Like you said, all props to Angela McArdle and everybody else. I mean, everybody else behind the scenes that pulled this off somehow.
Yeah, agreed.
So as a conference attendee, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I'm hoping that the boot I ordered is going to be sized correctly to wear on the top of my. I'm looking forward to all of it.
What was that guy's name? Why am I blanking on the boot guy?
Yeah, the LARPer's name, his stage name was Vermin Supreme.
Oh, that's Vermin, right?
Just wretched. I do not like that man.
No,
I met him a couple times in California. What am I looking forward to? I hope that the Mises Caucus and people friendly to it maintain the composition, roughly of who's in charge. I hope we don't get unseated, because I did not like the direction that this party was in for quite a while. Running people like Bob Barr and Gary Johnson was whatever, but Bill Weld was a train wreck, and it's not, has nothing to do with what we stand for. I didn't think the messaging was good. Jo Jorgensen was
a bit of a
not
limp
awful.
noodle. No,
a limp noodle. She was a faint echo. She ran, I think, with Harry in '96. So she was just a faint echo of what he was. Just fine, but I do think she fumbled the ball in the COVID era. I think she
100%. But she was an old school 90s libertarian, still trotting out those old talking points. We want to be Switzerland.
We don't need to be talking about milk subsidies and tariffs. I mean, I guess we do need to talk about tariffs. It's Donald Trump after all. Oh, and isn't Joe Biden reinstituting the same Chinese tariffs that he was railing against Donald Trump for?
Took him 3 years of review, though. 3 years of review to figure that out. So.
We don't have any actual choices in politics, ladies and gentlemen. It's
right.
It's one puppet master holding two puppets.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But then again, just seeing people I like, seeing a bunch of libertarians from across the nation. I like that. I like being in the same room with these people, and the parties will be fun. The events will be fun. I look forward to all of it.
Are you going to hang out for extra days out there and do some touristy stuff or something?
Yes, I'm going to try and see some stuff that I've never seen except on the TV and the movie screen. All the monuments and whatnot, and hopefully go see the Smithsonian, which apparently has 7 or 8 parts to it or something enormous. See at least the big ones.
Yeah,
because I've never been to DC. I'm a West Coast
for
guy.
Real?
Yeah.
Oh, I grew up there, so I mean, to me, it's like when we skipped school, we would just go hang out down at the mall at the Vietnam Memorial.
Oh wow,
that was how we skipped school.
That's wild.
Yeah, no. But when I lived there, when I was growing up, I went to high school there. The World War II museum had not been built yet, but I did get a chance to go back probably 15 years ago or so. And that's definitely worth seeing. That's pretty cool. I mean, we're not in favor of war or whatever, but I mean, these monuments are pretty awesome and awe-inspiring and pretty amazing to see. So yeah, definitely. If you
I liked the first World War. I didn't like the sequel nearly as much. The remake. I kid because death and destruction. I kid.
Death and destruction. I mean, come on. Yeah, well, that's exciting, man. I mean, I can't wait to see. We'll obviously do a post-convention recap episode. Do what you can to hook up some interviews and take a lot of pictures and make those connections, and hopefully we'll have some more exciting content following that. So yeah, just stay safe while you're out there, duck your head, avoid the flying boots, and you know, have a good time. So anything else you want to say to people who may be attending?
Just enjoy yourself, comport yourself in a dignified manner befitting a respected member of the third largest political party in America. Don't embarrass us, and have a good time. And that's it. Other than that, great talking to you, Tyrone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching Haman Nature. Like and subscribe. Go to hamannature.substack.com, and see you in a week.